This is basically a 2-hour advert for cars, bad music, and adult toys. Welcome to Italy. Oh, I can't keep delaying the inevitable. It's time to talk about 365 days, this day. And I'm still not 100% sure that's the title because the third one is called 365 Days, the Next Days. Feels like someone was doing crack and was writing down stupid names we're never gonna use in a movie. And then they used it. First time I watched it, because I've seen it twice now, I've done my time. It took me about 3 minutes to realize that I was watching the wrong one. Don't ask me. It was very confusing. The music doesn't help, and they all kind of start the same and end the same, at least so far. I also mentioned in a previous video, I can't remember if it was Catwoman or Femme, but I'm gonna do something fun today, right? I don't want YouTube to demonetize my video, so let's just... I like baking, so I thought, why not bake while I talk about 365 days? This day. It truly was a punishment to watch it. I'm not gonna lie. It was somehow worse than the first one, and the first one set a really, really low standard for what it is. I don't like calling it a movie because it doesn't feel like a movie. And I think that baking will really help me relax and get into the story. Get something out of it because there's no plot. There's no plot. Laura, remember Laura? She gets kidnapped again, but this time she doesn't know because having her get kidnapped for a second time would be too obvious. There is a twist. She's there because she wants to be. But also, if you haven't watched my other video, quick recap of 365 Days. What a gorgeous movie about a woman who gets kidnapped by a mob boss. He saw her hallucinated when he was shot by the same bullet that killed his father. And decided that she was going to be his, so he kidnaps her and forces her to stay with him for 365 days, during which time he is not going to touch her because he wants her to fall in love with him, and naturally he touches her a lot of times without consent. He's very violent, very angry. There's really nothing to like about Massimo other than his naked body. He's got a really good body and a really peachy bum. You know, in a dark room without a conversation, I'm down. That said, he is a walking red flag, full of red flags, and Laura just ignores all of them because the sex is good. Massimo is a generous lover, if you will. And then towards the end, she falls in love with him after 2 months because her standards, I guess, are really low as well. And they get engaged. Laura gets a really bad blonde wig for no reason and finds out she's pregnant, doesn't want to tell Massimo, and then goes into a tunnel and never comes out while Massimo cries. Presumably she's killed. We're on the edge of our seats, and finally, we're gonna find out what happened in that tunnel. So, I think this is the perfect time for a quick bake break. I think this is the perfect time for a bake break, and I'll be right back. So I'm baking, and I called it a bake break. And then I thought, what if I combine both words? Then I realized that no matter what I do, it's just break. So if anybody has any suggestions on what to call it, I read the comments, so just leave it down below. Thank you. So, 365 days, this day, it starts exactly like the first one. Just shots of the beautiful Italian coast, and it's Laura and her bad wig. She's alive, perfectly fine. She's got her wedding dress on. And then Massimo arrives because, I don't know, he's there. And the second sentence out of this woman's mouth is, "I have no panties on." Now, last time I checked, she was dead in a tunnel, but now she's absolutely alive and fine and about to marry her kidnapper. Something must have happened. We get no information. We just see them smash on a table until her best friend, whoever she is, shows up unannounced, catches them in the act, giving Massimo the opportunity to make a joke about her joining them. And it's like, why are we suddenly joking about the best friend of our hostage joining our relationship? Turns out Laura's limousine was attacked. There was an accident. She lost the baby, and she never told Massimo she even had it in the first place, and is now struggling to look him in the eye every day and not blurt it out. Ma'am, that is something you take to the grave. If you haven't told him by now, stay toxic. They then get married in a beautiful European church. Reminds me of literally every church I was forced to go to as a child. And listen, the movie it's like a long commercial for cars, for suits, for adult sex toys. There's nothing else. That's it, I think. Yeah, that's it. It's a long commercial. The songs, every singer sounds like the cover artist for a specific celebrity. There's a guy that sounds exactly like Ed Sheeran as they're walking out of the church all happy and shit. And then it's just loud and like all the time. There's almost no silence in the movie. They don't let you rest. And this is probably something you need a rest from. Because after the wedding, they smash for a few hours. It's incredibly long and drawn out. At least in the first one, they had the decency to withhold too much of it for an hour. We also find out that Laura's best friend is dating Massimo's right hand, the guy who used to be Laura's personal slave and is Massimo's closest ally, his right hand, because the one from the first movie quit the job because he couldn't handle the trauma of almost allowing Laura to be killed. The private security guard of a mobster couldn't deal with the fact someone almost lost their life. I can't make this up. It's in a movie. Go back and watch it. So much of the first act is just Laura and Massimo in their honeymoon, smashing in weird places. Like, why did you have to go to a golf court and have him shoot balls up there? We can't be this bored yet. We just got married. It's been like 3 months since the relationship started. You can't be bored enough to already want to go smash on a like, what is the point? But also, what is the point of finding logic in a relationship that started with him kidnapping her and her just falling in love with him and his body? This is around the point where Laura is now bored, you know. She wants to, I don't know, I guess she wants to work. She wants like a hobby. She feels like a prisoner. And so Massimo arranges for her and her best friend, whoever she is, I cannot remember her name. And they go on a little getaway weekend, but are interrupted when Massimo orders them to return home. And even though he says it's for their protection, Laura throws a fit and makes him feel so bad to the point where he literally apologizes for the way he handled things. Massimo is a changed man. He's apologizing now. Okay, maybe broken men can be fixed with good. And this carries on for a while. Eventually, she meets someone. She meets a mysterious gardener. He's new. His name is Nacho. And every time I think of him, all I want to say is Nacho Libre. He's hot. He looks like Massimo's younger brother, just a tall, tan Italian dude with dark hair who speaks in code, you know? Are you lost, baby girl? The sexual tension is there. Whatever they're talking about makes no sense, honestly. Nacho's a gardener. That is it. And then later in the year, because this is over a few months, you know, we're getting treated to months of character development in a flirty conversation and a Christmas sequence where Massimo gifts Laura her own fashion brand store something. Yeah, Laura's into fashion. Massimo gives her a fashion brand. You know what? This whole marry your kidnapper is starting to show some perks, because if you're really that obsessed with having a job, use the money you have to make the job you want. Me personally, I would just travel the world. I would spend the money on fun shit. You may think you would get bored of it, but think about it. You spend the warm months chasing the sun, and then the cold months chasing the mountains. Honestly, I wish my biggest problem was having too much money and too much free time. Give me your problems, Laura. I will even sleep with Massimo. I'll take one for the team. Also, whatever story we do get is interrupted with, again, sequences of them smashing and showing us the several positions they enjoy. We also find out over pillow talk that Massimo has a brother. First time he's mentioned it's the sequel. Who wants to bet it's a twin brother who's evil? Well, we don't find out just yet because Massimo doesn't want to talk about it. He leaves the bedroom to avoid a conversation with Laura, and Laura is left so distressed. And if you remember from the first movie, the best cure for feeling upset is shopping. Yep, shopping sequences are back. They are glitzier than before, also more annoying and obnoxious and just long. Things take a dark turn when one night at a gala event, Laura's acting bratty, Massimo's acting like her father. Some dynamics never change until Laura sees Massimo on a balcony. This is one of those like tall big theaters. She sees him being dragged away by his ex-girlfriend, and Laura's like, "Not on my watch." So she follows them through dark hallways and dark corners and finds them smashing. Massimo doing her from behind. I would have smashed chairs. But Laura leaves and runs into Nacho Libre himself. He's got a banging car for a gardener, let me tell you. I don't know how much Massimo's paying his staff, but I am open to working if being a gardener gets you cars like that. And she immediately asks him to take her away. Then they drive a bit, and then she calls her mom, leaves her a message saying, "I'm leaving, Massimo sucks," or whatever, and then throws her phone over the cliff. It seems like a waste of a phone. If you don't want to be tracked, just take like the little thing card out, no? Like, disable Find My iPhone. But she throws the phone, make it rain, and then she leaves with Nacho. And his cabin is beautiful. It's very homely and comfortable. It's got personality. It's got a beautiful view. I'm sorry, what are gardeners doing in Italy? Laura's mom goes to Massimo's and she is mad. She slaps this man, and honestly, good for you. Someone slap Massimo. And then Laura and Nacho have a beautiful time together. She meets his sister. He is very intimate with his sister. Massimo's ex-girlfriend has a conversation with him. He is not happy. This man is not happy. He threatens her. She implies that she had something to do with Laura's sudden disappearance, and he tells her that he will kill her if she had anything to do with it. So Massimo does not like his ex-girlfriend. That's weird, because a few days ago he was doing her from behind, right? Well, guess what, Sally? There's an evil twin brother. What? The twist. That isn't really a twist because they treat it like just a very useless piece of information that's just been dropped here in the movie to advance a secondary subplot that nobody really cares about. But yeah, Massimo's got an evil twin brother. He's working with the ex, so obviously he was the one doing her from behind. Massimo remains a non-cheater. That's great. Until we remember he's her kidnapper. Laura has been away from Massimo's penis for so long, she starts having sex dreams about Nacho Libre. And in all of those dreams, they're always tossing her salad. I don't know what she's telling all these men, but good for you, Laura. She's getting all these hot Italian men dying to go down on her. And honestly, I'm starting to like her. And with that said, let's take a quick break again. Don't miss the riveting third act that will change generations. See you soon. Another bake thought. 365 days is what happens when you create a society where you raise women to not be sexual beings freely. They can't do it like men can. And this unfortunately forces a lot of women to go their entire lives without ever exploring any of their fantasies. So they get to that ripe middle age, start writing Wattpad fiction, and it takes off because there's an audience out there for it. And now it's been gifted to all of us. Thank you, mommies. Welcome back and get ready because things are about to get stupid. A few things happen. One, Massimo's ex and his evil twin brother shoot a guy who was supposed to take Laura. So the whole plan was for her to catch them bumping uglies and then get kidnapped. Unfortunately, she ran into Nacho before this guy had the chance. So he's got to go because he lost Laura, right? That establishes something. some information. Second thing, Massimo is acting like a crackhead. I don't know if y'all remember how bad the acting was in the first one, but I genuinely thought in my head, maybe, just maybe, it's the movie's fault. It can't be just him, right? I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and in this movie, I like that he took the time to prove me wrong. It was him. To fill in the dead air, this poor man was forced to actually act, and it is so bad. It made me laugh. It made me laugh. Third thing, Nacho and Laura make out while he's teaching her how to surf, as one does, obviously. And then she has more wet dreams with him, wakes up, and then he tells her after breakfast, "You're going to meet my father and your husband." Plot twist numero dos. Nacho is actually the son of the local mafia head guy. And he is the main rival of Massimo because they're pissing in each other's territories. So technically, Laura was kidnapped. There had to be a twist. See, they couldn't just have her be kidnapped again. That would just be too obvious. Now, they make her fall in love with the kidnapper without even knowing he's the kidnapper. You gotta play mind games with her now. You gotta make this woman go through it. Are you lost, baby girl? On his way to the meeting, Nacho is accosted by two men just outside the building, and he presumes they are his father's workers, and they take Laura away. He goes into the meeting, and there's Massimo acting his ass off.
If you think I'm gonna put my father's empire into the head of a dog, a traitor!
And then Nacho tells his dad, like, yeah, I've handed Laura to your two guys, and his dad's like, wait, not so-and-so? Nacho handed Laura to the wrong people. I don't know who hates this woman so much. Laura is in an old church, empty, with Massimo's evil twin brother, the crackhead. He's like tweaking and dry mouth smacking. Someone give this man his fix. Massimo and Nacho take a break from being enemies and they become besties in this very quick GQ Men ad for Suits. I think they're walking like a couple of bad boys about to do some bad things. And then it gets really dumb. It makes no... Okay. So we have very little plot to hold on to, but what little we have has been explained to us, right? In the church is now Laura being held at gunpoint by Massimo's evil twin brother. And Nacho's like, no, you should have waited in the car until negotiations were over. And Laura's like, oh, you know these people? And Massimo's ex-girlfriend's like, we pushed you into his arms. Nacho was working with Massimo's brother. Then why did Massimo's brother and his ex-girlfriend shoot that man in the head for not kidnapping Laura properly and letting her escape into the arms of Nacho? It makes no sense. Everyone's got a gun except poor Laura. And then she decides to make a run for it. She pulls out those Polish rugby moves she learned in ED. She's like, nope, got some, yeah. Starts running carelessly. This woman does not give a if she lives or dies. She's like, you know what? I'm going for it. Bye. Deuces. And Massimo's evil twin brother, I'm not going to learn his name because he shoots Laura in the back. And then Massimo shoots his brother in the chest, I think. Massimo's brother dies, and now we have Laura in Massimo's arms. Is she going to live? Is she going to die? We don't know. Exactly the same way the first one ended. If you're one of those people that stays in front of the TV while the fragrance commercials are on, then you're gonna love this. It's a lot of that. But if you're watching this genuinely for the fantasy and because you think it's hot, I'm like 95% sure that there's like a lot of porn out there that does the same, but a million times better. And that was 365 days this day. I don't know what to expect anymore. Like, are we Team Nacho? Do we think that Nacho is a better match for her? I mean, at least he didn't, like, fully kidnap her, you know? He just withheld some information. He was always kind to her. He didn't have these violent outbursts where he thinks he owns her. Maybe Nacho is the man, and it would be ballsy if she ended up with him. I'm just saying we don't ever see that. So maybe I'm Team España on this one. And with that said, that's it for the second one. Guys, are we excited for the third one? It's just, are we like, cuz it's gonna be another bake and break, right? If you don't want to miss the third installment, then make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, leave it a like down below, and let me know in the comment sections down below if there's any other 50 Shades-esque movies that you've seen. Like, even those really terrible ones that look like they were filmed on an iPhone on someone's roommate's basement. Send it over. But it does help if it has a lot of budget behind it, because then it's like, wow, so many people had a hand in this and no one thought to say, hey, no, it's bad. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay stupid, and stay stuttering. Bye, guys. Oh, time for another big break.